including those cameras on your side of the netting. And being aware that if these guys do slide out into the shallow water, especially these two because they're so big, they can definitely splash a little bit, so be careful. Alright guys, so once again, we have 5 killer whales here. We have 2 boys, and these are them. This is Kyuquot on the right and Tuar here on the left. So, killer whales are a matriarchal society, which means the females are in charge, but the males are bigger. So later on, if you get a chance to see one of our shows, you'll probably get an opportunity to see the girls of the family. And you'll see that they're the largest females, about half the size of these boys here. So Tuar, once again here on the left, is about 7,000 pounds. And here is Kyuquot. He is the largest on the right. He weighs 9,300 pounds. We weigh them every Tuesday. So this behavior is actually a husbandry or healthcare behavior. We can ask them to slide out like this onto a killer whale size scale that we have. And then we're able to accurately weigh them and make sure that everyone is growing properly. Now these males, Tuar is 17 years old, and Kyuquot there, he is 24 years old, and they are both still growing. So male killer whales, their pectoral flippers on the side, and that dorsal fin on the back grows throughout their entire life. So you can see how big they are already. They're gonna keep on growing.
Wow.
What's really neat, I did call the ones on the side flippers and the ones on the back of fin, and there is a difference. If we were to take an x-ray of that pectoral flipper on the side there, on the inside are bones, and they actually look just like a hand. So they have 5 individual digits on the inside of that pectoral flipper. Now the dorsal fin on the back does not have any bones, and that's what makes it a fin. And that is key to a question we get asked all the time, which is why is their dorsal fin curved over? Later on again, when you get a chance to see the girls, you'll notice theirs are straight. It really depends on how large those dorsal fins get. And again, they keep growing on the males. They can be over 6 feet tall and can weigh over 150 pounds. And as whales spend more time in shallower waters or at the surface, those will eventually turn over, and they don't have any muscle to bring them back up. We're going to get a chance to hear some killer whale vocals, so we'll listen up here. Thousands of different sounds that these guys can make. Did you get a chance to see where that sound was coming from? Did anyone see where that was coming from? Do you know where they make that sound from? Yeah, absolutely. So killer whales don't have vocal cords and don't talk out of their mouths like we do. All of those sounds come from the blowhole on top of their head. Alright, so that blowhole is where they breathe air from. They're mammals. And so they do breathe air. They have a large muscle over that blowhole, and they can not only open it to breathe, but they can manipulate it in different ways to make all of those different sounds. Now as you get a look as they're being fed, you guys can see inside their mouth. Killer whales do have 44 conical-shaped teeth, and they are not used for chewing, you may notice, as they're eating their fish. They are used for biting and tearing and catching, but otherwise they swallow their food whole. So speaking of fish, again, Tuar weighs over 7,000 pounds, Kyuquot weighs over 9,000 And each of them have their own dietary needs. So the veterinarians and the trainers work together. We decide how much of every kind of fish they need. We do feed salmon, capelin, herring, and mackerel. And currently, Tuar is eating 140 pounds of fish every day, and Kyuquot eats 170 pounds of fish every day. So we pay attention to their behavior and to their weight and decide just how much they need to be healthy. So as the trainers are interacting with them, there's lots of different sessions we do here throughout the day. One of the most important ones is called a relate session, and that's just building that relationship that the rest of our training is built on. So we're going to do something pretty neat here. We're going to use our underwater tone system to do a training session. For the most part, we communicate with hand signals with the whales, but we also have trained them to respond to certain underwater tones so they can hear the sound. And when they hear it, they respond with the behavior. There we go. And then when they're right, we have a certain sound that we play to let them know that they got it correct. All right, you may also hear the trainers using the whistles around their neck. That again is a way to communicate to them that yes, that is what we asked, that is what we're looking for. And if you come on back, you'll get something really fun and exciting. And that might be primary reinforcement, which would be food. And again, that's their fish. But it can also be secondary reinforcement, which might be ice or jello or a toy that they really enjoy. And it can also be a nice back rub. So these guys are very tactile animals. We will rub them down when they slide out, or we can also use car brushes or loofahs. Now those toys that you saw earlier floating in the pool and here on the side here, those are what we call EEDs. Those are environmental enrichment devices. Now it's really long word for toys. So we want to make sure that we keep their day interesting and fun and that we're introducing novel things for them. They're very smart and curious animals, so we want to make sure that we're stimulating their minds. So we come up with lots of different ideas and we share them with our vets, and as long as they're considered safe, we can share them with the whales. All right, folks, another opportunity for a great picture again of our two males of our killer whale family, Tuar and Kyuquot. Folks, we want to thank you so much for being here today and having the opportunity to see what goes on here behind the scenes. We do have a couple more shows throughout the day. We'd love to invite you all back to see them. Our next one is at 3:30. They're going to open the stadium at 3 o'clock. I know it's a really hot day out there, so you can get in line to be down in the splash zone.